I turned down my childhood crush, who is now a single mom, because she turned me down when I wasn't pretty. Now her friends are calling me and pleading with me to give her a chance. As a male in his mid-20s, I spent most of my youth and early adulthood studying. Because I'm not naturally smart, I had to pay attention and work hard, just like my parents told me to. In college, things finally slowed down in the late years, and I became more social. I liked a girl in my group of friends named Nat, so I asked her to go on a date. When I laughed, she did too. So she laughed because she said it was so out of the blue. It still hurt a little. She said no, and said she wasn't looking for a date right now. Let me give you a hint, she was dating someone, but not me. I didn't care because she said no, so I moved on. My good grades in school and the people I met through an internship helped me get a good job outside of my neighborhood. Let's call them Tony and Steve. They are in their mid to late 30s and hung out with me a lot. They helped me open up more. They told me to join them at the gym because they were sick of seeing my beanpole behind. It was a lot of fun, and it made me stronger. They were dating, so whenever we went out, Tony and Steve were great to have with us. They helped me come out of my shell. I'm still a little awkward, but I'm much more at ease in social settings now that I've done it a few times. It took about 2 years for this to happen. In the end, I asked my boss if I could work from home so I could be closer to my family and deal with health and money problems back home. I'm not going to talk about it. And was given permission as long as I went back to the office every 3 months for meetings and other important things. I'm now back at home. A few weeks ago, Nat and I met at the shop. She's now taking care of a child by herself and doing pretty well for herself. We saw each other again at a party for friends we both had. She asked me at this point when I was going to ask her out again. I hadn't really thought about it, I told her. She looked hurt, but I thought, why not? I told them I wasn't interested and thought that was it. After that, I quickly took myself out of the talk. It looks like that wasn't okay to do. Nat came up to me again and asked why I wasn't interested since you were interested 2 years ago. I told her that was 2 years ago, but she lied when she turned me down, so I haven't thought of her that way since. Then she said, because I'm a single mom. Isn't that why I'm still upset about that? As a matter of fact, I have no desire to date single moms since I'm just starting to date. It would be too much for me to deal with everything that comes with that. But more importantly, I no longer feel interested in Nat. I don't see her that way at all. Am I going crazy? Why are her friends making fun of me because I don't want to date her? Some of my friends back home tell me to at least give her a chance. But Tony and Steve say I don't owe her anything. My younger brother says I should try, and my older sister says I should follow my gut. I haven't really talked to my parents about it yet. It's beyond my comprehension how or why this became such a major issue. What should I do? I talked to my sister last night about it after reading and responding to some of the many comments here. The confusion in this situation is making me feel a lot of stress, and I need to fix it. So after giving it a lot of thought and getting my sister's okay, I called Nat this morning and asked if she could meet me for coffee tonight. Because I don't like all the messages and comments from her friends, I made it clear that this isn't a date and that we're just trying to get along with each other. She said she'd like to clear the air about some things and quickly agreed. The fact that she said she was sorry for being crazy gives me hope that our later talk will be useful. I'll let you all know tomorrow if I can. Thanks to everyone for their time and ideas. Please fix it. There are no red pill ideas here. That makes things more hostile, which is not how I see the world. Beautiful women are my sister, my mother, my cousins, and many other people in my life. Let's not say bad things about each other. I don't like it. This is not an attack on a whole group. Please stop it. Thoughts, Darth-kitis? Not at all. As a guy with other choices, there is no reason to date a single mom, let alone one who isn't interested when you are having a bad day. Just so we're clear, being a parent makes me nervous and awkward. But that doesn't bother me as much as the fact that I'm not interested in her. It might not be fair to say that my successes play a role. People always had high hopes for me, and Nat is already doing well for herself. That much I know. I'm not interested in her, she's not a bad person. J. Smith 21, 2007. It's enough that you say you're not interested. It's sad that she is now bothering you and having other people bother you because you don't want to date her. That would make me dislike her even more. Does she think that getting other people to message you about why you won't date her and fighting with her about it will make you what? Want to get to know her better or force you to date her? OP. I have no idea what she's thinking. I felt really weird, so I haven't been around much. I do feel a little bad about what I did. It's not like me to turn down people. It's clear that Magdoa laughed at you before. Why should you now give her a chance? She did say she laughed because she didn't think I would ask her out again. I guess that's true because I laugh when I'm scared or shocked too. I feel bad about it. I don't like making other people feel bad. She's getting a lot of attention from her friends. There are many great things about her, but my gut tells me not to go for it. No matter how I look, I feel bad. You're right about Fun Yellow 65576. The only thing that counts is that she lied to you when she turned you down. Thanks. It would have been fine if she had told the false desert she wasn't interested. Still, I know that women lie sometimes when they don't feel safe. Of course, I don't blame her for what she did, but it doesn't make me feel good either. Before I told you all how last night went, I wanted to clear up a few things. I try not to think that someone is acting badly if there's a chance that they were just not paying attention. I believe the world would be a better place if we tried to be less hostile and more helpful. I know I'd like to be given a second chance if I did something wrong, so I tried to do the same for Nat and her friends. I'm really glad I did. Nat has been around the edges of my life for a long time. Even though we were never really close, living in the same town makes you know a person better over time. I was shocked by how she acted because I knew it wasn't like her. I was shocked and nervous when her friends reached out to me, because I'm not used to getting that much social attention all at once, no matter what the tone and subject of the attention are. I think these people are generally good people who are acting badly. They are not bad people by nature. Anyway, here's what you all really want to know. Last night I met Nat for coffee, or tea, at a nearby coffee shop. After I got there, she showed up late and said it was because she had to take care of some kids. It turned out that the father of her son is very involved in their lives, but only as a key-off parent. She is single, because being with her parents is the only time they can really be together. Even though they didn't get along as a pair, Nat says that her son's father is a great dad who is dedicated, caring, and helpful. I told Nat that the last few weeks have been very stressful for me, because her friends have been calling me about her. I'm sorry that my answer no hurt or upset her, but I'm not sorry for saying it. Nat stopped me and said she was sorry. She said that none of those things were on purpose. She just has some friends who are very loyal and enthusiastic. She also told me she was sorry for how she acted at the party, which was very helpful. Nat started dating again not long ago but hasn't had much luck so far. She thought that would happen, but she didn't think that people would not care so much about it. The last guy she met was mean to her, because he thought she was used and rejected her badly because she was a single mom. That was still fresh in her mind. Nat told me that she saw me and liked me, not just because I looked good but also because I was less shy around other people and we could hold a decent chat now. That's why she was interested in my growth. She said she remembered that I was kind and smart, but I was terrible at making friends when I first asked her to go on a date. Nat was sure she didn't mean to laugh. She was really shocked because she had no idea I had thought of her that way in the first place. In this case, I do believe her. She was actually trying to flirt with me at the party. When I turned her down, the bad feelings she was carrying from the last time I turned her down took over, and she behaved badly. According to her, she told her friends about it, and they tried to make things better. Nat should be proud that the texts have stopped. Since yesterday, when I first called her and told her I wanted to meet up. I think I may have overreacted now that I look back on it. That's what I think because some of her friends' messages make it seem like they were just pushing for us to be together, not criticizing me for saying no, if that makes sense. But all the attention made me feel like I had to do something, and I may have worried a little. That's pretty much it, everyone. I said sorry, and she did too. It's all a lot less exciting than I think some people thought it would be. No, we're still not dating and we're both fine with that. However, we agreed that if the chance comes up again in the future, and the time is right, one or both of us could try to gently bring up the idea again. I don't think that will ever happen. But it's not a completely bad idea either. I just won't think about it for at least a few years. For now, I like how things are in my life. You look like the kind of guy who is really nice. My guess is that your worry about what was going on played a part, but underneath it all, you seem like a thoughtful person. So, stay away from Nat and her friends. Even if she didn't mean for the mad rush to happen, the fact that her friends thought it was okay is scary. Pay attention to Steve and Tony. They have the right screws in their heads. Thanks, P. Yes, I'm thankful for my friends. Having such a big effect on me right now doesn't come as much of a surprise since I've been nervous most of my life. After reading both parts of your story, Fiblamish, I don't understand why you are talking to her or her crazy friends. How long do you want to stay in high school? She couldn't handle her life, so she slacked off on you over the internet. You didn't do anything wrong. Adults take care of their own issues when they arise. Don't send adult texts to someone else telling them who they should date. No one else was interested in this except you, not even that group of harpies. It's rude and sad to do this. Say no to her again, stand up for yourself, and move on with your life. The fridge they have. At one point in his life, he liked and respected that person, and he wanted to give her a chance to prove herself as that person again. Does she deserve it? That doesn't matter because he just wanted to set the record straight. There's no way I could agree with her or her friends, but that's just part of being human. It doesn't sound like he wants to date her. Thanks, P. I did want to make things right. When something feels unfinished, it makes me feel very bad. Nat was more agreeable this time, which I really liked, and I liked learning more about her life. I really feel bad for her because the last two guys were so mean to her. I can't imagine being that cold to someone else. I don't get it. This is Peter 95837. I was shocked that things didn't get as bad as I thought they would. I'm laughing out loud too much while reading Boo's story. Op seems like a nice guy, so I'm happy for him. But staying away from Nat and her friends is best for everyone. Let's move on to the next story. Second story. By keeping track of our airline miles, I found out that my wife was having an affair in Paris. I canceled her return flight, divorced her, and even got her French friends band to break up. I'm 33 years old and my wife is 30 years old. We've been together for 6 years. I knew right away that I wanted to be with her forever when I met her. Plus, she was even better than I thought I could want in a woman. Really, I had to try pretty hard to get her to agree to go on a date with me. We worked in the same office, and she didn't want to get in trouble by dating another worker. But the way she looked at me made me think she liked me. We finally went on our first date, and it was great. Soon after, we fell in love quickly and quickly got married, about 1.5 years after we met. Her drive to always learn was one of my favorite things about her. She was always trying to learn something new, whether it was a language or a new skill. She knew a lot about the world. She really liked going on trips and finding out about other countries. I wished I was any of those things, so I admired her for it. When we first got married, we went on some trips together. It was amazing that we went to Singapore and Thailand together. It was clear that we couldn't move at all during the pandemic. My wife was really upset that she couldn't travel and see the world. It really was her biggest love, and being locked up in a house for months was a nightmare for her. She joined an online club that met once or twice a month as a way to get away from that. On a Zoom call, people would just talk about the places they had been and their countries. A part where people could share recipes for different foods from their own cultures was one of her favorite areas. She loved her group so much. Quite a few of the members became close friends with her. They used Discord to talk to each other outside of group meetings and play games or watch movies together. In the early days of the outbreak, I was glad that she was able to stay alive. As soon as she knew it was safe to travel again. After getting the shots, she jumped at the first chance she got. I was back at work though, so I couldn't do anything like that because of my schedule. She lost her job at the start of the pandemic, and I was taking care of us both, so she could have gone on vacation if she wanted to. We talked about it for a long time because she didn't want to go without me. But after everything that happened, she told me how stuck she felt. I didn't like that she left without me. I felt left out. I agreed to let her go because I knew she needed to be free. I hadn't seen her this happy in a long time when she came back from a week away. She visited a friend she made in her online group in Germany. She had a lot of pictures of them together, places she had been, and food she had eaten. I thought it would satisfy her travel bug until we could do it together, but I was wrong. It made her want to do more. It wasn't possible for me to just leave my duties and go with her. I told her that her going on trips by herself made me feel bad, and she decided to wait until I had some time off before she went anywhere else. Not long after we talked, she told me that one of her friends from the online group she was in had been pleading with her to attend her wedding. I thought at first that I would have enough time to ask for time off work and go with her. When she told me the dates, I was upset because I knew I couldn't make it. There was a big work meeting that I had to go to. When I told her that, she said she had forgotten all about it. At the time, I didn't know this, but she was lying about that. At that point, I had no reason to think anything was wrong. She seemed honest when she said she forgot and wouldn't go if I couldn't go with her. She knew I would tell her to leave me alone. Things were a little off in the weeks before she left. I knew she wasn't right, but I didn't know what. She looked very nervous around me and wouldn't look me in the eyes very often, most of the time. And she always had something she wanted to say just on the edge of her tongue. Our flights were both the same day, so we left together. I forgot to check on her when her flight should have arrived because I was too busy. Finally got back to my hotel room at night. I checked my texts to see if she had sent me anything, but she hadn't. I went to the airline's website to see when she was due to arrive before I started to worry. Since I had to travel a lot for work, and she liked to travel in general, we had a shared account that let us earn miles. I saw that our pass now had a new flight. She landed where she said she was going, but an hour after the other flight got there, there was one leaving for Paris, France. While she was there, she never said anything about going to Paris. To make sure it was her who bought it, I took a picture of the details and texted it to her. Someone might have been able to get into our account and buy their own plane ticket. It took her a while to answer me. But about 15 minutes after the Paris flight was supposed to land, I got a message that pretty much proved she was in Paris. That's why I didn't understand why she was there. She called me from the airport to say she had some extra time and wanted to see the city before the wedding. To be honest, I was too tired to fight with her, so I agreed and told her we'd talk about it later. Sometimes it got annoying to me because plane tickets aren't cheap, especially when someone buys first and business class seats everywhere they go. She lost her job at the start of the pandemic. As I already said, I had a great job, so taking care of both of us wasn't a problem at all. But when she bought things like that, it would be helpful to know about them. After going to sleep, I didn't think about it again until the next morning. I saw a text message from a number I didn't know when I looked at my phone. When I first saw it, it didn't bother me because I get a lot of spam text messages every day. It was a picture of my wife standing naked in front of a mirror, with a guy taking a picture behind her. I opened it to see what it was. The picture had no background information at all. When I responded right away, I asked who it was. They read the message, but didn't answer. As much as the meeting I was going to was important for my job, I tried to forget about what I saw in order to get through the day. I didn't check my phone because after what I saw, I couldn't stand the thought of my wife texting me that she loved me. When the day was finally over, I saw that the number that texted me tried to call me twice. When I got back to my hotel room, I called. Go back. Surprisingly, a man picked up the phone. I asked him what his name was and why he sent me that picture. He told me he only wanted to let me know that talking to my wife was not on his radar. I didn't understand what he was saying at all. I was married to her. He was the one who was barking up the wrong tree. I could tell he was French because of his strong accent while we were on the phone. It was clear that she bought the plane ticket to France to be with the guy in the picture. I was interested, so I checked the airline website again to see if she had booked another flight back to the city she was meant to be in, but she hadn't. The last ticket she had left was for her trip back home. I took my payment information off of the internet and canceled her flight without giving it much thought. Even though I didn't know what was going on, I knew she cheated on me. I wasn't really interested in the specifics of what she told that guy. I knew she was lying when she said she had to go abroad to sneak off with the other guy. I didn't think she was even supposed to go to a wedding. After the meeting was over, I went home right away. I was going to take everything from her if she cheated on me. I wouldn't mind if she got lost in Paris for the rest of her life. She called and texted me when it was time for her to go home to ask why I had to cancel her trip. She didn't know what was going on until her little boyfriend told me. I finally picked up the phone and told her I knew everything and that I would not be paying for her to go back to the US. She would need to find her own way home. She tried to explain the picture by saying I got it wrong because it was an old picture of an ex. I was sure it wasn't. Once more, she was telling me lies. I told her she only had one chance to be honest with me. She finally gave in and told me what was going on. The man she met in Paris was, of course, someone from her online group. After they started talking, he tried to get her to like him. He was in a band and into art, which are things she liked in a man before she met me. I didn't say anything about it. I also told her that divorce papers would be ready for her when she got home. After that, I hung up. I didn't pay for her return flight. For some reason, she couldn't pay for the ticket herself, so she had to call several people and ask them to help her out. She was no longer in my life after I found out she cheated on me. In the end, her sister bought her the ticket and then called me to yell at me for leaving her behind. I looked into it online to try to figure out who my wife was sleeping with. She said he was in a band, but when I found him, I was shocked at how many people followed him. He was becoming more popular as an artist, and a song he just put out was doing pretty well. I did something bad, but I couldn't stop myself. I blocked my wife's face so she couldn't sue me to get back at me, and then I put the man's picture online with a fake account and tagged him in it. A lot of people watched it. A lot of people felt sorry for him after I shared the story about how he slept with a married woman and ruined someone's life. When I divorced my wife, she moved in with her sister while she looked for work to support herself. She had to go back to working in person, which I knew would make it hard for her to move. That made me laugh. I looked into the band's situation out of interest a few months after I put the picture online. The picture had gotten a lot of different reactions. One member of the band wrote on their Instagram page about what happened after it all. Everyone in the band agreed that it would be best for them to go their separate ways. Because of me, their band might have broken up, which made me feel good.